Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Ebulomo Oguntoye. In our major story, 11 people feared dead in accident involving multiple vehicles on the Ibadan end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Also in this program, APC governors meet to strategize on Kogi and Bayelsa governorship elections. Suicide bomber hits Gamboru market in Maiduguri, killing 6 people. Outside Nigeria, funeral held for 18-month-old Palestinian child burnt to death in alleged arson attack by Jewish settlers. Eleven people are feared dead in a road accident involving several vehicles in the Onigari area of the Ibadan end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The accident, which happened early Friday morning, according to an eyewitness, claimed no fewer than 11 lives. This, according to the eyewitness, the accident occurred at about 6 a.m. and involved a lorry loaded with charcoal, a container truck, Mazda salon car, and a 14-seater bus belonging to Oyo State's transport scheme, Ajimoshi. Governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress have started strategizing ahead of governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa State later in the year. The governors held a meeting in Abuja which ended in the early hours of Friday and resolved to work for the success of the party's candidate in the 2 states. At least 14 APC governors attended the meeting at the Imo State Governor's Lodge in Abuja.
Gentlemen of the press, we met and we deliberated on a lot of issues. One is that we have resolved to strengthen our party, to prepare for the forthcoming elections, especially the one of Kogi and Bayelsa. We also are very happy with the developments in the National Assembly, as peace is gradually returning to the National Assembly. So we're very happy, and what has taken place in the Federal House will soon take place in the Senate. So we are very happy. I will resolve to support the party and make our party bigger and much bigger than it is now. And our doors are open to welcome interested parties to join us in building the Nigeria of our dream and aspirations.
A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed a suit challenging the People's Democratic Party governorship primaries that produced the Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade. An aspirant in the PDP primaries, Joe Aggie, had approached the court asking it to nullify the governorship election on the grounds that Ayade presented a false declaration of age certificate to INEC. Delivering judgment on the suit, Justice Abdul Kafarati held that the plaintiff failed to furnish the court with enough documents to prove his allegation. He therefore dismissed the suit for lack of merit.
Shown to the public and to the world that this matter, the court has no jurisdiction, number one. that the matter is a pre-election matter and that is an internal affair of the party. So, number two, that the totality of the arguments that the plaintiff brought, was faulty and have no grounds, and that the court have judiciously dismissed the case.
The sitting governor did not pay his dues, membership dues to PDP. And as PDP, we came and said, he paid to us, and we cleared him to contest the primary after being satisfied that he has paid all his dues and that he's an obedient member of the party who has complied with all the requirements. And we argue that in any event, the issue of payment of membership dues is internal to the party. The courts do not have jurisdiction to dabble into such affairs. So if the parties have said, fine, we are satisfied with what a candidate has done and that he has paid his dues to us and we are okay, we want to allow him to contest the primary, that's fine now. It's not for the court to dabble into such issues and start making findings.
The Court of Appeal has set aside the decision of the National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal in Kogi State to strike out a case filed by Senator Smart Adeyemi of the People's Democratic Party against the election of Senator Dino Melaye of the All Progressives Congress. Delivering judgment in the appeal, Justice Mahmood Adume held that the tribunal was wrong in striking out Adeyemi's petition on technicalities instead of on substantial justice. Justice Adume also ordered that the matter be returned to the tribunal for a trial. The appellate court further said the tribunal's position that the petition was not filed within the time frame allowed by law and was wrong.
To the tribunal for expeditious disposal of the matter, and in a different panel, different from the one that considered the motion in the first place. The Court of Appeal found a lot of irregularity in the filing and service of the reply, which they earlier contended was served on the petitioner on the 13th day of May 2015, and affirmed that it was served on 14 May 2015 as the position of the petitioner at the lower court, at the tribunal.
The crisis rocking the Ekiti State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has taken a new turn for the worse with the suspension of members of the Tunde Olatunde-led executives by the Do Falaye faction. Rashid filed in this update from Ado-Ekiti.
The state secretariat of the People's Democratic Party in Ado-Ekiti again came under tight security very early in the morning, catching many by surprise. Just before midday, the reasons for this became apparent, with the secretary of the Olatunde-led faction, Tope Aluko, crying out over what he described as an illegal act. He condemned the statement read on the state-owned media outfit.
For Comrade Valeye and the purported Jackson to now go on the air and start saying that they suspended 4 SWC members, I think that's a deliberate attempt to destroy the party. One, the suspension cannot be done outside NWC. The suspension cannot be done outside SEC. But I want to assume that that is still their faction talking.
But in a swift reaction, the Falaye-led faction says it has been recognized by the national leadership while spelling out disciplinary measures against the erring members.
Those people's petitions have been received by the party should be suspended pending the inauguration of disciplinary committee, and the motion was unanimously agreed.
While the Ido Falaye-led faction says it enjoys the backing of the National Working Committee, Tope Aluko and other suspended officials says it's a figment of the imagination of the members of the Falaye-led faction.
Of Comrade Falaye and his faction to now go about saying that they have suspended half of SWC in Ekiti, then that means there's a problem. And it means there's a problem coming towards PDP. And we will not run away from it. We will not run away from it.
There is no any faction. The NWC deliberated on the state of the party in Ekiti State and resolved that it only recognizes the state ESCO led by Chief Idowu Falaye.
While this continues to play out, the level of tension rises by the day in the PDP in Ekiti State. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
A suicide bomber detonated explosives on Friday morning at the popular tricycle park of the Gamboru Market in the northeast Nigerian city of Maiduguri. A vigilante and an eyewitness have confirmed. The State Police Command has, however, in a statement signed by the State Police Public Relations Officer Victor Ishuku, confirmed casualties occurred during the incident. A witness who declined to be named corroborated this account but did not mention a specific number of people as being the casualty. The Gamboru Market is the second largest in Maiduguri, capital of Borno State. The Borno State Police Command has attributed the low casualty figure recorded in Friday's early morning suicide attack at Gamboru Vegetable Market, Maiduguri, to the bomber's poor timing of his deadly mission. The state's police public relations officer, Victor Ishuku, says the bomber came early to the market, which normally gets busy with trading activities, at about 7:30 a.m. in the morning to wreak havoc in the area. Meanwhile, the Northeast Zonal Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mohammed Kanar, has confirmed that 6 people died in the attack, while 11 others were seriously wounded. He also confirmed that his team responded to the situation and had cleaned up the scene of the attack in conjunction with security agents. The police authorities have ordered a clampdown on unregistered taxi cabs plying the roads on the Federal Capital Territory. Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase said the directive would take effect in 2 weeks' time. He urged all taxi drivers within the capital city to register with the National Union of Road Transport Workers or risk being arrested by the police. Arase gave the warning when the leadership of NURTW paid him a courtesy call in Abuja.
In Abuja, I think we have a very serious problem. There is a lot of cabo that have been plying the highways, and you will agree with me that when you have issues of insurgency that like we have in this country, it could be very, very dangerous. So there must be a way we should be able to ascertain those vehicles that are properly registered, with your unions, either in the various local governments or something. You must be able to tell us either you paint them in a particular color, or you use stickers to identify them and register them. So that whenever we stop them and we are asking them questions, if they tell me that that vehicle belongs to the National Union of Road Transport Workers, for instance, in Buhari, I can pick up the phone and call the chairman or the secretary to confirm, is this driver, one of you from that particular area? So I will give the national chairman and the secretary, I will give people a grace of maybe about 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, we'll start clamping down on all vehicles that plies the highway in FCT without proper identification, because we will not allow the education.
Notable among such achievements include the recent order for the immediate dismantling of all roadblocks nationwide and their replacement with police patrol. Such roadblock, apart from serving as point of corruption and constructing public nuisance, has for a very long time remained a great cause for concern for the transportation business. We must therefore convey our profound gratitude and appreciation to you for addressing and containing this menace.
It's the CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break now and we'll be back after the timeout with details of the meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and United Nations Special Envoy Mohammed Ibn Chambers. Don't go away.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly. Talk to her husband that you should keep promise about what you said.
and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man, you don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that should be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it's about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
Many thanks for being there, and if you're just joining us, it's the CoreTV Primetime News, and here is a reminder of our major stories. 11 people feared death in accident involving multiple vehicles on the Ibadan end of the Ibadan-Lagos Expressway. APC governors meet to strategize on Kogi and Bayelsa governorship elections. Suicide bomber hits Gamboru market in Maiduguri, killing 6 people. And for more on CoreTV News, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. On YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV, let us post the news. President Muhammadu Buhari said on Friday in Abuja that with the formation of a stronger regional coalition, Nigeria and neighboring countries now have an increased capacity to deal effectively with Boko Haram and other terrorist groups. Speaking at an audience with Mohammed Ibn Chambers, the United Nations Secretary General, Special Representative and head of the United Nations Office for West Africa, Buhari reaffirmed his belief that the full activation and deployment of the multinational joint task force, which has been established under the auspices of the Lake Chad Basin Commission, will lead to the speedy defeat and elimination of Boko Haram. The president added that with the command and control center of the Nigerian military now in Maiduguri, Borno State, the morale of troops in the frontline states had improved significantly. Against the backdrop of upcoming elections in Côte d'Ivoire, Guinea and Burkina Faso, the president also called on the United Nations to assist African countries in the acquisition and use of innovative technologies to ensure more credible elections. Recalling that in the last general elections in Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission used smart card readers to authenticate prospective voters, President Muhammadu Buhari observed that while Nigeria could afford the use of such technology in its elections, other African countries may require support and assistance from the international community. The federal government is on the list of individuals and groups that have yet to redeem their pledge to the Victim Support Fund set up by the Jonathan administration. It is owing 5 billion naira, but President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to pay up. Chairman of the Presidential Committee on the Fund, Theophilus Danjuma, disclosed this to State House correspondents shortly after a closed-door session with the
We were launched during the fundraising that took place a year ago. The total amount of money that was pledged by various contributors was slightly more than 50 billion naira. Of this amount, only 23 billion naira has so far been redeemed. So there's a lot of money out there still to be recovered. Of the organizations and individuals that have not fulfilled their pledge, the federal government is one. We are expecting 5 billion naira from federal government. And the president today promised to honor the pledge of the federal government. We will plead with them quietly, but we may also resort to naming and shaming those who have not honored their pledge.
Spokesman for Major General Chris Olukolade is yet to bow out of office after over 2 years as Director of Defense Information. Is to be replaced by Colonel Rabi Abubakar, who is to hold the office in acting capacity pending the appointment of a substantive defense spokesman. A military statement indicates that General Olukolade will be handing over to his successor next week. He was to have retired in November last year, but the military authorities asked him to stay until this year. The multinational Joint Task Force now has a new leader following the appointment of Major General Tukur Buratai as Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff. Major General Ilyasu Abba formally took over the leadership of the body at a brief ceremony at the Army headquarters. The new MNJTF commander said the task of defeating Boko Haram is not insurmountable, but demanded robust intelligence, logistics support, and administration to enable troops rout insurgents in the sub-region. He argued that if the three basic requirements were met, he and his team had the capacity to defeat Boko Haram in the area. Buratai expressed confidence in the ability of Abba to lead the MNJTF and noted that several international organizations had been making donations towards the operationalization of the task force. A former member of Adamawa State House of Assembly and delegate National Constitutional Conference, Misa Bobo, and a notorious drug baron, Bapa Madu of Ungurori Town, have been sentenced to 7 years imprisonment each by Justice Balkisu Bello Ali of the Federal High Court sitting in Yola. They were both arrested by officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in connection with unlawful possession of illicit drugs, which is in violation of Section 19 of the NDLEA Act. The former legislator was convicted of illegal possession of 81.9 kilograms of cannabis sativa, while Bapa was found guilty of possessing 61.6 kg of tramadol. Justice Balkisu, in a judgment, described the involvement of the former legislator in drug trafficking as a big shame. The Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Health, Linus Awute, has officially launched the National Policy on Viral Hepatitis as part of activities commemorating the 2015 World Hepatitis Day in the efforts to join the global community in preventing and effectively managing hepatitis. While speaking at the launch, Linus Awute pointed out that Nigeria is the first African country to have a national policy on viral hepatitis, noting that this feat represents one of the most befitting legacies from Nigeria's relationship with the World Health Organization. He also informed that a national technical working group has been constituted to provide technical assistance to the program, while stressing that the impact of hepatitis caused partly by commonly practiced human activities has made it important to act now so that Nigerian citizens can be protected from the disease. He informed that much of the predisposing health risk is avoidable through adequate awareness creation, behavioral change, education, and adhering to effective screening of every blood collected before transfusion. Former head of state Yakubu Gowon thanked the ministry for inviting him and his center to partner with the ministry to combat hepatitis scourge. He also commended the ministry for eradicating guinea worm, polio, and Ebola. An end may have come to the Ebola epidemic that has raged in West Africa, killing thousands of people, with an Ebola test vaccine which provided blanket protection in a field trial in Guinea. The serum was 100% effective after a week in more than 7,600 people inoculated, according to results published in The Lancet and hailed as extremely promising by World Health Organization Chief Margaret Chan. The world was on the verge of an effective Ebola vaccine, the UN's health agency said in a statement. Though encouraging, the results are interim and the vaccine will not become immediately available as a community-wide Ebola shield, experts cautioned. About 28,000 people have been infected in Guinea, Sierra Leone and Liberia since late 2013. According to the WHO, nearly half have died, even as some believe some other cases were not accounted for. Wife of the immediate past governor of Lagos State, Abimbola Fashola, has called on youths to explore possible avenues that enable them contribute positively to the society. Abiola Oluwole was at the workshop organized for Nigerian youths via the Leadership Empowerment and Resource Network, a non-governmental organization of the former First Lady.
Finding a lasting solution to the rising unemployment rate in the country has become a mirage for government. The interactive session, according to Abimbola Fashola, is to engage youth on the need to explore creative ways that make them self-independent rather than seeking the proverbial white-collar job. Fashola also enjoined them to always contribute to the development of the society, irrespective of their social status.
Wherever you find yourself, you are the leader of that place. Try as much as possible to make it better than how you met it. And that's why I said I want to ignite something in them to show them that wherever you are in the world, you are a leader. You can always see something that is not going well or something that is going great and you want to contribute to your own quota. So it's not negative, it's positivity as well. You could contribute into it.
Speaking on the topics entrepreneurship and public speaking skills, a former commissioner for commerce in Lagos, Shola Uwuru, and public speaker Niyi Adesoya told participants that research, planning and determination are key to achieving their vision in life.
You don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I don't have a job, so I'm just going to be an entrepreneur and that's it. You must have a certain mindset. You must be ready to take risks. You must be able to, you must have a plan to say this is what I want to go for. And you must be totally committed to that purpose.
We've always had a challenge with our leaders not communicating with us. And that could basically mean that probably they don't know how to communicate with us. And then you see speeches of Western leaders who are doing very well with their speeches, and then you see our own people here who are not doing that fantastically well. Then you look at it, what's the difference? The difference is actually catch them young. They started from a young age, and then one of the benefits of this would be that everybody, whatever you are, any position you are, you will be able to communicate your ideas effectively to whoever you're leading or whoever you're following. And that's one of the best things that would benefit from this.
Participants speak on the benefit of the program.
Government needs to come into this, find a way to blend what we have done today and scale it up so that more persons in the society can benefit from this. Very measurable if you measure the impact.
The Leadership Empowerment and Resource Network, LEARN, is a project of Abimbola Fashola, poised at mentoring secondary school students and young graduates in the society. Abiola Oluwole, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We take another break and we return with business, sports and other stories outside Nigeria.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water and nudity.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly. Talk to her husband that you should keep promise about what you said. And because people are watching you, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man. You don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Hundreds of mourners have attended the funeral of the 18-month-old Palestinian baby killed in an arson attack in the occupied West Bank. And Palestinian leaders condemned Israel's policy on settlements and dubbed the attack as war crimes. Family members buried Ali Saad Dawa Besh on Friday afternoon as his 4-year-old brother and their parents, both in extremely critical condition for major burns, recover at an Israeli hospital. Several thousands of people also took to the streets in Duma village, the site of the attack, for the funeral of the baby, whose body was wrapped in a Palestinian flag. Israel troops shot and wounded one protester during clashes in the city of Hebron, the army said. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's settlement policy is being blamed for the attacks in the West Bank. The Hamas government in Gaza has also condemned the latest incident and called for a day of fury in response to the relentless Zionist assault on Jerusalem and the murder of toddler Ali in Nablus. According to the UN, there had been at least 120 attacks by Israeli settlers since the beginning of 2015. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a rare telephone call to Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas condemning the murder of the toddler and pledging a thorough investigation. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has visited the family of the dead Palestinian child who was killed in an arson attack allegedly by Israeli settlers near their home. While expressing his condolences to the family of the little boy, he says Israel condemns all such acts in its entirety, vowing to bring the perpetrators of the crime to justice. It says Israel will continue to fight all acts of terror wherever and from whoever it is coming.
60% of his body is burned. We're doing everything we can to save this young boy, give him a life. His two parents are in other parts of the Israeli health system. We're trying to give them the best treatment to save their lives. When you stand next to the bed of this small child and his infant brother had been so brutally murdered, we're shocked, we're outraged. We condemn this. There is zero tolerance for terrorism, wherever it comes from, whatever side of the fence it comes from. We have to fight it and fight it together. I spoke to President Abu Mazen right before I entered the hospital. I told him of this visit and of Israel's absolute commitment to fight this evil, to find the perpetrators, bring them to justice.
Zimbabwe has called for the extradition of Walter Palmer, the trophy hunter from Minnesota, who has gone into hiding amid a global outpouring of anger after he shot dead Cecil the lion. Environment Minister Opa Mchingura told reporters in Harare on Friday that Zimbabwe is appealing to the responsible authorities for Palmer's extradition to Zimbabwe so that he can be made accountable for his illegal action. Palmer allegedly paid $50,000 for the hunt earlier this month, in which he shot the lion with a powerful bow and arrow at night close to Hwange National Park in the west of Zimbabwe. Cecile, who had a distinctive black mane, was a popular tourist attraction at the park and was also wearing a tracking collar as part of a University of Oxford research project. Palmer, who is also being investigated by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service over Cecile's killing, has apologized and said he was misled by professional guide Theo Bronxhorst. Bronxhorst, who organized the expedition, was granted bail by the Hwange court on Wednesday after being charged with failing to prevent an illegal hunt. And now to business news. President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed Mohammed Kari as the Commissioner for Insurance and Chief Executive of the National Insurance Commission. Mohammed Kari's appointment, which is for a term of 4 years in the first instance, takes effect from Friday, July 31st, 2015. The new Commissioner for Insurance started his career with Royal Exchange Assurance in 1979. He later worked with Yankari Insurance Company until 1989, when he was appointed Executive Director in Niger Insurance PLC, a chartered insurer and professional IT consultant. Mohammed Kari was until his new appointment the Deputy Commissioner in the National Insurance Commission. President Buhari has also renewed the appointment of Joshua Okpo as Director of the Maritime Academy, Oron, for a second and final term of 4 years. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has agreed with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria on the need for a framework for the creation of microgrid for industrial clusters across the country. Rising from a meeting held at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja, both organizations have set up a committee that will address the challenges posed to industrial productivity and the country's broader economic goals, and how to dedicate small grids connected to large distribution grid to industrial clusters. Speaking at the meeting, the chairman of NERC, Sam Amadi, said Vice President Yemi Oshibajo has been briefed on the objective of the meeting, which is to make power available to industrial clusters in a reliable and quickest possible approach. Options being considered entail an arrangement to upgrade licenses of captive electricity generators with excess capacities to supply firms within their vicinity through commercial arrangements that would be jointly beneficial to the electricity distribution companies and the industries. Following the continued sale of petrol above the stipulated pump price by some marketers, the Department of Petroleum Resources has said it will engage law enforcement agencies like the Police, Pipelines and Products Marketing Company, and Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency to stop them. The agency said it had set up a special task force on the supervision and monitoring of product sale from depots, with powers to undertake the sale of products from the depots. The task force, it noted, would liaise with the police, PPMC and the PPPRA. The department said in a statement on Thursday that its action resulted from a meeting held with all stakeholders in the downstream sector of the petroleum industry a day earlier. The meeting was summoned to convey the government's displeasure at the illegal sale of petrol above the stipulated pump price of 87 naira per litre and the long queues of motorists at filling stations. The federal government is losing about 475 billion naira yearly to the non-implementation of the Stamp Duties Act, the Nigerian postal system has said. In an interview with newsmen in Abuja, the head Cooperative Affairs, NIPOS, Taye Olaniyi, said a survey carried out by the postal agency in collaboration with some private sector organizations showed that the full implementation of the Stamp Duties Act could puts 475 billion naira into the coffers of government on an annual basis. The act, which was last reviewed in 1955, requires that agreements and receipts of detailing one transaction or the other should be sealed with adhesive postage stamps. Olani said the gradual neglect of the law over the years had robbed the federal government and the postal organization a principal source of revenue. And now we move to sports. Nigeria head coach Sunday Olise insists he has not backtracked on his promise of selecting only Nigerian footballers who ply their trade in First Division clubs for the Super Eagles. Some sections of the local media in Nigeria reported on Tuesday that coach had made a U-turn from his initial pledge, but the trainers say that it is not the case. But the gaffer, in a personal video posted on his timeline on Twitter, urged his followers and all Nigerians to ignore the rumor, insisting that he has not changed his mind about the initial pledge on those eligible to play for the Super Eagles. West Ham's hopes of qualifying for the Europa League group stage suffered a setback as they were held after leading 2-0 against Romania's Austria Giurgiu. Goals by Enner Valencia and Mauro Zarate puts the Hammers in control of the third qualifying round before James Collins' dismissal changed the game. Fernando Bordrin made it 2-1 before debutant Angelo Ogbonna headed past his own keeper while attempting to clear. West Ham now face a tough test in the second leg in Romania on 6th of August. The Hammers had been controlled for almost an hour before Collins' red card turned the tie upside down and left Slaven Bilic's side with it all to do to reach the playoff round. They also lost Valencia to a knee injury to compound Bilic's problems. Southampton made a successful return to European competition by beating Vitesse Arnhems in the first leg of their Europa League third qualifying round tie. Playing their first Euro tie since 2003, Graziano Pelle opens the scoring with a right foot shot after Sadio Mane's neat ball in. Dusan Tadic converted a penalty to double the lead after Maine was stripped in the area on the stroke of halftime. Substitutes Shane Long and Yuan Mei combined late on as Long headed home. It was Saints' first win in European competition since 1981, and the two sides will meet again in the return leg in Arnhem next Thursday, with Ronald Koeman's side in a strong position. Arsenal forward Theo Walcott has signed a new 4-year deal with the club worth £140,000 a week. The 26-year-old has scored 50 league goals in 208 appearances since signing from Southampton in 2006 in a deal worth up to £21.5 million. Spain midfielder Santi Cazorla, 30, has also signed a new deal extending his terms for another 2 years. Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger also expressed his delight at the contract's renewal for two players he says are influential for his team. Argentine national Alejandro Bozzaco, one of 14 people indicted in the FIFA corruption scandal, has pleaded not guilty to the charges. The Argentine appeared at a New York court on Friday. He's been accused by U.S. officials of taking part in a massive kickback scheme going back 20 years. Bozzaco is the former general manager and board manager of Turno's Compensations SA, an Argentine sports marketing company. Tiger Woods shot 4 straight birdies on his way to a 3-under-68 in the first round of the Quicken Loans National in Virginia. The former world #1 is 5 shots off joint leaders South Africa's Richard Golson and Japan's Ryo Ishikawa. It was the first time Woods, currently ranked 266th, has shot 4 birdies in a row since the 2013 Bridgestone Invitational, his last tournament win. Meanwhile, England's Justin Rose is in contention after a 5-under-65. 35-year-old bogeyed the second, but 5 birdies through his next 7 holes saw him climb the leaderboard.
Little early, but it's left, going left straight into the creek, and you know, we've seen something quite shocking today, because for me, this is the chipping. We don't really.
Well, this whole exercise.
This is when you're on meltdown.
Disbelief.
You are. Well, he's on. Not.
Beijing has been chosen to host the 2022 Winter Olympics and Paralympics, beating the bid of Kazakhstan's Almaty. Having hosted the 2008 Olympics, the Chinese capital will be the first city to host both a summer and winter games. Beijing and Almaty were considered outsiders when the 2022 bid race opened 2 years ago, but after a host of European cities withdrew for political or financial reasons, the Chinese bid beat Almaty by 44 votes to 40 with 1 abstention. And now to entertainment stories. Popular Yoruba actor Muftau Sani, popularly known as Ajigi Jaga, is dead. Though the cause of his death is still unclear, unconfirmed reports say he was involved in a ghastly auto crash 2 weeks ago. His death is reportedly as a result of internal injuries he allegedly sustained from the crash. The late Muftau Sani, known for his bold and hardman's role in movies, has recently not been as active on the movie scene. Some of his colleagues have already been sending condolence messages to his family. His death was said to have been announced by popular actor and movie director Saeed Balogun. He was 60 years before his death. And that's it on CoreTV Primetime News tonight. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Ebulomo Guntoye. Thank you for watching.